ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਮਲੈਸਨੈਸ ਨੂੰ ਘਟਾਉਣ ਅਤੇ ਬੇਘਰ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਕਗਾਰ ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਦਦ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਮੰਤਵ ਨਾਲ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਵਿੱਚ $202 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੀ ਹੋਰ ਸਾਲਾਨਾ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਜੋੜਨ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਨਵੀਂ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਾ ਕੇ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਘਰ ਹੋਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਚਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਕੁੱਲ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ $700 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਐਲਾਨ ਮੌਕੇ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ, ਮਿਸੀਸਾਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਕੈਲਡਨ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਆਫ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਅਤੇ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰਸ ਵੀ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਸਨ। ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਨੁਮਾਇੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨ ਵਿੱਚ 80% ਵਿਅਕਤੀਆਂ ਲਈ ਘਰ ਖਰੀਦਣਾ ਅਤੇ ਕਿਰਾਏ ਤੇ ਲੈਣਾ ਇਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲ ਹੈ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿ ਅਜਿਹੇ ਮੌਕੇ ਇਹ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਲਾਭਦਾਇਕ ਸਿੱਧ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਜ਼ਿਕਰਯੋਗ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਨਵੀਂ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ $190.5 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਹੋਮਲੈਸ ਪ੍ਰੀਵੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਲਈ ਵਰਤੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿ $11.5 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਇੰਡੀਜੀਨੀਅਸ ਸਪੋਰਟਿਵ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ ਲਈ ਖਰਚੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ।
Before I begin, for those of you celebrating today, I'd like to wish you Eid Mubarak. So earlier this month, I joined the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Steve Clark, to announce that our government is investing an additional $202 million every year in our programs to prevent homelessness. That is more than a 40% increase in funding to support vulnerable people right across our province. And that brings our total annual investments to nearly $700 million. This investment includes an additional $190.5 million annually in the Homelessness Prevention Program for a total investment of $654 million, well over $500 million. This new funding is a 30% increase to the regional municipality of Peel's allocation from last year, bringing our total investment to $42,399,000. Yes. So the Homelessness Prevention Program helps service managers like the region of Peel to provide housing, including supportive housing and other supports for people experiencing or at risk of experiencing homelessness. But we're also investing an additional $11.5 million annually to the Indigenous Supportive Housing Program, bringing our total investment to over $41.5 million a year. This program provides culturally appropriate housing assistance and support to services for Indigenous people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. And this money can be used for both capital expenses like buildings and operating expenses such as services and supports. Supportive housing provides people in need with a roof over their heads. It also connects them with the services that provide a hand up to improve their circumstances, including mental health support and job training. Our government met with partners and stakeholders across this province past fall, and we heard their concerns and are addressing their valuable feedback to improve Ontario's supportive housing system. This investment represents precisely the sort of support our municipal and Indigenous partners have been asking for. It is predictable, stable, and a significant increase over previous funding. It gives local service managers the flexibility to direct funds to their local priorities in fighting homelessness, and it will make a real impact to support housing providers helping vulnerable people each and every day. This funding is so critical because we know that when communities thrive, Ontario thrives.
Nina, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. You know, my staff gave me a speech, but I don't need it. I've had this speech ready for a long time. And it's the speech that finally says thank you to this provincial government for delivering on the housing file. You know, it had gotten to the point where we have a great working relationship with this government. You know, I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, I've been blessed. I've been around 35 years. And in the 35 years that and you know, I'm not a member of a political party. I've worked with all of them over the years. But I've said, and I will say again, especially today, in all the years that I've dealt with so many different governments as a councillor and now as a regional chair on behalf of Mississauga and Peel, I have never worked with a finer government that's done more in the spirit of cooperation with us than this Conservative government that we're dealing with now. And that's a tribute to these people behind me. But there was one big piece, and it gotten to the point, and Nina knows, because every time I would meet with Nina and Rudy and all of our colleagues, and we meet regularly to go over files, things of importance. But by the way, things of importance, I say delivering, they're not hollow words. I stand here knowing that there'll be funding 2 hospitals in Peel. Deputy Premier was here last week to give us $9.4 million for our PTSD center in Peel for all of Ontario. So it's for all of Ontario, but they chose Peel to place this facility for first responders. The minister was here with us as well, and so were other members. We toured our long-term care facilities because it matters to them, and we got more funding on that file. So in thanking all of the MPs, the MPPs, I really want to single out everybody. I start with Nina on the housing file as the deputy minister because she heard us and they've delivered today. I've said before and I'll say it again, our deputy premier, Sylvia Jones, she really is our guardian angel in government. She's our local gal and she looks after us and she's delivered again today. I want to thank the premier for all that he does to keep Peel uppermost in his thoughts in terms of helping the residents here and getting a fair deal for Peel on so many files. I want to thank the whole team that we have of Peel MPPs. You know what you remind me of this morning? You remind me this morning of the Leafs going over the boards yesterday. Because you worked just like them yesterday, and we're proud of you, and we're proud of what you've done. And my final praise is for someone who's not here, and that's the Minister of Housing. Steve Clark and I have developed a very good relationship, and he knows, and Chair Groves, I say Chair Groves used to chair housing, now it's Mayor Groves. Every time we speak, now Nando, you seem to talk to the government every now and again. Keep pushing them on the housing file. It had gotten to the point where Steve Clark was in a room with me and say, before you say it, Chair, let me get it out and deal with the format. You're going to ask me about housing and getting, yes, consider it asked and answered. We're getting back to you. Today they got back to us with $43 million. And I said of Minister Clark, and I hope you take it back to him, the finest Minister of Municipal Affairs we've ever had. He's proved it today. He comes from the municipal sector. He gets us. Took a while to get to it, but he got it done. So this is the greatest day because housing is such an important file that I've had the privilege of residing over in 5 years as regional chair. My thanks to the Premier, the ministers, this team, because this is a great day for Peel.
So I think the message that you are hearing, or I hope that you are hearing, is that we are taking an all-of-government approach to this issue. In my previous role as Solicitor General, we made investments on the policing side to ensure that people who are vulnerable in our community were able to access service in a more compassionate and caring way. Under the leadership of Chief Nishtariappa, I have to say that Peel Region really stepped up and embraced some of those innovative ideas that have made a difference. But it's not just about that interaction that happens on the street when someone is in distress and calls 911. It is, of course, the homelessness piece and the housing piece, which is why I'm so pleased to be here with my government colleagues to say we will continue to take an all-of-government approach, an all-of-ministry approach to make sure that whether it's in health, whether it's in housing with municipal affairs, whether it is in MCCSS, we will be there for the people of Peel to make sure that you have the supports. And I know that we have willing partners with our three mayors and chair. So with that, I will thank you. Spend it wisely. I know you will.
On behalf of the City of Brampton, I want to thank the provincial government for this important announcement today, this investment of funding into homelessness and housing in the region of Peel. We're very fortunate. I think Chair Unica was so eloquent in describing how the stars are aligned by having a team of MPPs working so hard on the issues confronting us in Peel region. We've seen incredible strides. You know, Nando alluded to the medical schools, but you look at the partnerships with the Peel Police who are here today. You look at the new med school, which is coming to Brampton, and now support for this critical challenge of housing is a wonderful partnership, and that's what it is. We've got a tremendous partnership with the provincial government. I just want to say, I've served in the provincial legislature with Sylvia Jones, having the deputy premier region, not to mention the Treasury Board president. We call him President Sarkaria, being from Brampton, I know is a big help too. So on behalf of the residents I represent, I just wanted to say thank you to the provincial government, and we know this is going to make a difference for those in our community facing some of the most significant adversity. Thank you for this act of love towards Peel region and this support to make sure we can give a hand up to many.
Listen, I just want to take a little bit of a different approach. I really want to put it in perspective for the city of Mississauga and how affordable housing and the homelessness crisis really impacts a city like ours. We are unfortunately no exception. The numbers captured in the regional figures continue to see a steady increase. Mississauga has what we call the Open Window Hub, which is a resource center for information that supports and empowers individuals who are unhoused and their families, and those experiencing mental health issues, not only homelessness, addiction issues, and of course, food insecurity. In the first quarter of this year alone, the Open Window Hub has seen over 5,500 new individuals. Think about that for a moment. And we've had over 4,000 requests for supports and over 250 requests for housing. The wait lists are endless, and we have to continue to chip away at them to provide the supporting housing on a list that grows each and every day. And unfortunately, we're seeing more seniors asking for affordable housing or supportive housing, especially as they age out of ODSP and Ontario Works, which was just increased, and we thank the government for that as well. Today's investment is going to help us do better. So I'm very, very pleased as housing and rental prices continue to increase, with rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in the range of $1,600 to $2,800 each month, depending on where it is. Prices are out of reach for 80% of households in Mississauga, let alone our most vulnerable communities. Mississauga, we're taking action on the housing affordability. We have a plan, making room for the middle, but we do need support from our federal and our provincial partners. And this is why today's investment announcement is so vital. It's so important. Safe, affordable housing is the foundation of our economy and the foundation of the quality of life that people enjoy. And the new funding model better reflects the current need that individuals have across the region and will help more people get the supports that they need so they don't have to live in their cars or under bridges or in the streets. Affordable housing should be a right, not a luxury. And on behalf of all my colleagues who are here today, and the residents of Mississauga, of course, we want to thank the provincial government for this welcomed investment into the Homelessness Prevention Program and Indigenous Supportive Housing Program, and for your continued work that you're doing in our region, particularly on the housing file. So thank you all for being with us today, and thank you once again for the government for recognizing this need.
And really, when we think about this, it's a partnership. And as the chair said earlier, this is a great partnership with the province of Ontario. And finally, Chair Ainika, Minister Clark heard us. I think we, like you said, every opportunity we get, we continue to say, we need additional funding here. So this is very exciting. This is certainly something that is going to be used very wisely. And homelessness and housing, lack of housing, really just doesn't affect people's physical well-being, but it's the entire system. It affects their mental health. We've seen the issues with mental health over the last couple of years, the increase, and certainly this will go a long way to helping those families. We've had families delegate regional council, and I will tell you something. We can stand here, but when you stand in their shoe, you certainly understand what it is that they are dealing with on a day-to-day basis and how fortunate and how blessed we are. So we are very grateful for this funding from the province of Ontario. We are very grateful for the partnership that we have developed with the province of Ontario, the Premier and his team. And we are very lucky in Caledon to have the Deputy Premier in our riding. And she has been absolutely amazing. Thank you, Minister Jones, for the funding that you brought to us for the PTSD station. It is right there in Caledon. So we are extremely grateful for this funding, and I want to thank the members here from the province of Ontario. We thank you, ministers, associate ministers, for all that you do for us here in Peel Region. Thank you.
We're here today at the Region of Peel ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ historic announcement ਹੋਈ ਹੈ Region of Peel ਵਾਸਤੇ City Brampton, Mississauga, Caledon. Homelessness is a real problem ਸਾਡੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਡਵਾਂਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ $200 million plus ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ a large portion of that, one of the largest increases is right here in Peel region. Jitte saadi city, Brampton, Mississauga, Caledon are one of the fastest growing regions in all of Canada. Uthe investment bhi karni bahut zaruri hai, and that's exactly what we are doing. So we look forward to seeing these investments to support the people of Brampton, Mississauga and Caledon, and we'll continue to make these investments to support our community.
Today, we're at the Region of Peel headquarters to announce a funding by our government to help prevent homelessness. Our homelessness prevention program has just been increased by $202 million across the province for this year. We started this program last year, then we saw the dire need for more money to be invested to get to the front lines. The funding is going to the Region of Peel here and for $48 million, and with that money they're able to now really work firsthand with those who need help.
Happy to be here for the announcement where we announced $42 million going to the Region of Peel for their homelessness prevention program. This represents an increase of funding for the homelessness prevention program of about 38%. You know, the problem in Brampton, Mississauga, Caledon, our homelessness issue is growing, and we need government to step up and take a leadership role. You know, we all announced during the last election that we would put Peel region first, whether that's Brampton, Mississauga, Caledon. That's exactly what we're doing here today. We're getting our fair share for the region. We're getting it done for the residents.
And today we are at the Region of Peel headquarters, and our government just announced an investment of $42 million into our homelessness prevention strategy. I know that the Region of Peel will put this money to very good use to help those vulnerable, the persons experiencing homelessness, to find accessible and affordable housing. So this is just another commitment that our government has made towards the housing strategy. And so I'm very proud to be here today with my caucus colleagues to announce this very good news, $42 million coming to the Region of Peel.
ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਪੀਲ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਡਰਾਈਵ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ at the headquarters of the Region of Peel. ਅਸੀਂ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ 38% increase in funding for homelessness prevention. ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਥੇ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਡੈਪੂਟੀ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਆਪਣੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ MPPs, ਮਿਸਿਸਾਗਾ MPPs, ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਸਰਕਾਰੀਆ, ਸਾਡੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਟੀਮ ਇੱਥੇ ਅੱਜ ਪਹੁੰਚੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ along with Mayor Bonnie Crombie, Mayor of Brampton Patrick Brown, and Mayor of Caledon, as well as our team from the Peel Regional Police Chief Nish and his deputies. So ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਅੱਜ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ homelessness prevention ਦੇ ਲਈ 38% funding increase ਹੋਈ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਉਹ same funding as well affordable housing ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਜਾਊਗੀ, ਤੇ ਮੇਕ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੋਸਟ ਵਲਨਰੇਬਲ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਇੱਥੇ ਘਰ ਲੈਣ ਦੀ opportunity ਮਿਲ ਜਾਵੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਰੈਂਟਲ ਸਪੇਸ ਇੱਥੇ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਵੇ. ਸੋ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਅੱਜ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ. ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਰੀਜਨ ਆਫ ਪੀਲ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਨਾਲ ਆਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਚੈਲੰਜਸ ਫੇਸ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਹੋਰ ਸੌਖਾ ਹੋਵੇ.